In our last video, we looked at how to solve a quadratic equation by factoring with an area model, and we looked at it when the a value, or the leading coefficient, was equal to 1. So in this video, we're going to look at what we do when the a value is not 1. So again, to solve this, I'm going to want to rewrite the left side of the equation as a product of two different expressions. That's what factoring is. So to do that, I'm going to draw my area model again. A generic rectangle. So recall that when I multiply out two linear terms to get a quadratic, I get 4 terms. So again, I'm going to highlight this time. So in these two squares here, in the blue, is where the two terms will go when we add them together to get the middle term. So the setup's always the same. So I'm going to put the x squared term, or the term with the a in it. Remember, this is a, b, and c. So that term is going to go on the top left hand of my model. And the constant term, or the last number, c, will go on the bottom. And I always put the sign attached to that. And so we're going to use our diamond, which is essentially when I don't connect the edges, it's an x. Remember, up here I'm going to put the product of a times c, and down here I'm going to put the value of b. So in the last video, a was 1, so essentially 1 times c is c, so when a is 1, I just worry about c. But in this case, I got to actually multiply a and c. So the way I do it is I'm going to take these two boxes that I filled in, and with the purple line, I'm going to figure out what their product is. So 12x squared times negative 4 is negative 48x squared. Alright, and then I know that to get my numbers, these products across the green line product and the purple line product are equal. And so now I want to get what these two terms have to add equal, which is always the b value. So in this case, it's going to be b, circle it here, so it's negative 13x. And again, I want to come up with the two terms I'm going to put in the highlighted areas. I'm just going to highlight this area in the same color so we know what we're doing here. So in these highlighted areas, I'm going to put the two terms I want in here. So those two terms will always be two numbers that multiplied equal the product of a times c, at the same time add equal what I want for b. So I got negative 48. So I'm going to think about all the different ways to get 48. So I got, remember it's negative, so we play with signs here. So it's going to be, I'm just going to write them all out as if they were positive. So we got 1 and 48. We got 2 and 24. Don't think 3 goes into it. Oh, 3 does. 3 and 16. And I got 4 and 12. 5 doesn't. 6 and 48. I believe that works. 6 times 8. 7 and 8, right? So I want to play with the sign. So in order to get a negative product, one term in each line has to be negative. So my question is, when I add a negative to one term in each of these product combos, which one yields me a sum of negative 13? So because the sum's negative, I know the bigger number in each pair has to be the negative one, and the only one that works is the 3 and negative 16. And so I'm going to put 3x over here and negative 16x. And so those correspond to these boxes. So one of these I'm going to put a 3x, and one I'm going to put a negative 16x. Okay. And once I have those filled out, I can start factoring. So I'm trying to get the terms that make up the lengths and the width of this rectangle. So I take this column here, first column and I say, what is the greatest common factor of 12 and negative 16? So, because this term is positive, the g-set's going to be positive. So, the biggest number goes into 12 and 16 is 4. And they both have an x in common. So that has to be 4x. So, again, 4x times what length gives you an area of 12x? Well, that would be 3x. Okay. And here, 4x times what gives you negative 16x? Well, that would be negative 4. And then here, this should be a plus 1. I know I'm right because when I take this number 1 and times it by this number negative 4, I should get the product to equal this last term c. And so I'm going to rewrite this equation. It's going to be 4x plus 1 times 3x minus 4, and that's going to equal 0. And so with the zero product property, I said each of these factors equal to 0 because if two things multiplied equals 0, that means one of them has to be 0. And solving this, one answer I get is going to be negative 1/4, and the other answer is going to be positive 4/3. Remember, when I have fractional answers, I should write them as fractions. Remember, 4/3, that's a repeating decimal. That's 1.3 repeated, so writing it rounded doesn't work. You could also write 4/3 as 1 1/3 if you want. And that's it.